grid up then for Junior Rotax. Bartek Filipiak will start on pole position alongside the 45 of Tom Carter, with Joshua Howard and Jaden Hewitt on row 2, Curtis Latimer and Harry Hurst-Grover on row 3. Tom Elston and Oliver Brett Smith will share row 4. The top 10 completed then by Jensen Mason and Sam Stoner, with Ethan Haig and Tom Holden on row 6. Jacob Dukes, last year's returnee, he starts in P13 alongside the star of Fullbeck, Ollie Naylor, with Finn Whiting in 15th and Nicholas Ellis in 16th. Maximus Shields, who's already taken one win today, he starts 17th alongside the 28 of Oliver Green. 18 runners then for our Junior Rotax class. And, as our guest class make their way off the circuit, can't be too far away from racing here. Looks like there's a little pep talk going on there, a little helmet wobble for the 85 of Ollie Naylor. I'm not sure who that was giving his helmet a wobble, because I don't think that was his dad. So everybody makes their way out, and you see loads of people sliding really, really wide here, trying to get some temperature into these tyres, as Ollie Naylor is now facing the wrong way and on the grass, and he's going to have to do quite well as he spins up them rear wheels to head back and get onto the back of the pack. We might end up with a roll round, but if he does catch up to the back of the pack here, I think that we'll just go green, because obviously the rest of the pack, well, they can't be responsible for other people's actions out there. And but looks like we may get 2 rolling up laps here at Whilton just to get the pack, and then throughout the day I think everybody will figure out what the script is. But certainly seems very slippy on the opening lap as everybody came out of the dummy grid. We've had a 3-lap practice this morning, but conditions back then were very, very cold. The rest of the field, though, seem to be gridded up quite nicely. We might actually get this one going, albeit Naylor will have lost out. There he is trying to catch up on the back. Let's see whether we go racing. And it's a firm no as the arms go up and the roll round. And the green and yellow chevron. And we've got drivers off in the wall, even on the rolling up lap. 4 drivers off. Issues for runners. The 18, that's Jaden Hewitt. The 34 is Jacob Dukes. 56, I believe, is Curtis Latimer. Let's just have a quick check on that one. It is Latimer, the 15-year-old from Wigan in Lancashire. And those were all running fairly towards the front end of that grid as everybody makes their way around now for a second bite of the cherry. Ollie Green into the pit lane already on the rolling up laps. Problems for the driver of the number 28 machine. Now everybody will be getting into position again. Those drivers that went off will now be trying to slot back into where they were, but they have to do it by a certain point of the lap. So they make their way round once again. Looks like that actually we could, and this is something that race control I'm sure will pick up on, but looks like we could potentially have 2 number 85s out there. And I think the second one could be Jensen Mason, who's on the 3rd row. When I was saying before, I thought that was Ollie Naylor getting the head tap. It certainly wasn't, because Naylor's got a bright yellow car. It looks like this time we could be going racing, and we are. As our drivers, as soon as the tram lines are done, they break formation. And Max Shields, arm up already, looks like he's rolling into retirement. So our Junior Pro Kart winner not having the same sort of look in Junior Rotax, unfortunately, as everybody makes their way round Christmas Corner for the first time. And then the run down towards Ashby's. We're already side by side, and it's getting quite defensive already. There's the 70 of Ollie Brett Smith holding off Jacob Dukes. We're 2 and 3 wide. Naylor trying to make his move down the inside of Finlay Whiting as Jensen Mason in the other 85 machine. Oh, side by side Whiting actually with a bit of contact there with Curtis Latimer into the boot complex. And they're still side by sides, the 2 cartel machines. Over the line then for the first time. We've got a yellow flag out down at the Crook Oblivion opening first 2 corners, so there'll be no overtaking until they see a green. And now we have the 45 of Tom Carter coming through on Joshua Howard. So Carter leads, Howard second, Elston then in third. Jaden Hewitt picks up a contact warning. Not sure if that's for anything on the opening lap or for the issues they had on the on that previous rolling up lap, because he was one of the 4 drivers involved in that. He's got a brand new frame under him this weekend. They were working long into the night last night, the team over from the Isle of Man, to get that kart ready after some issues in practice. But the top 10 then, as they come through, will have Tom Carter leading the way. We'll wait for them to come through then for the second time. Looks like Jacob Dukes there with the blue helmet has made quite a move up through the field. We'll check that as they come over, but on timing it's certainly Carter, Howard, Elston, Brett Smith. Then we've got a driver whose name's not allocated, and that, not sure who that is. Haig, Whiting, Holden, Latimer. We've got some movement. Jacob Dukes not showing on timing. He's down in P16, but I'm fairly sure he's up there because he's got a fairly distinctive blue helmet. It's like quite a dark blue with flashes of neon down the side that you can almost pick out. We'll keep an eye out then for the 34 machine. So they're battling there between the 51. That's Tom Elston. He's showing on timing. He was in P3, but now it's going to be Oliver Brett Smith in that position as the midfield pack is battling it out. That's the 14 in there as well. That's Harry Hurst Grover. We spoke to him this morning, right before the race day started, as we are nose to tail now between Nicholas Ellis, who won heats at Fulbeck, and there now he's going to go down the inside of the 51 of Tom Elston into Christmas Corner as Latimer and then Hurst Grover all nose to tail as they head down towards Ashby's. Almost at half race distance. We are running to 7 minutes plus 1 lap. We've got 4 remaining in terms of time. As Jensen Mason holds off Ollie Naylor, and as expected, and I'm fairly sure that we all noticed there's 285s out there. Naylor holding the yellow cart off the back then of Jensen Mason. So there's a slight change as Oliver Brett Smith seems to have dropped down the timing. He's holding now in 8th place, so he's lost 4 places in 1 lap. As the drivers make their way through then from this random grid, as Latimer goes down the inside but then has the nose chopped off that number 56 machine down at Christmas Corner. And as we saw in the previous race earlier on with Fabricius, and he's overcooked it down inside. It's Jensen, it's Jaden Hewitt down the inside, far too late on the brakes, and you can tell by the way he throws his head back and shakes his head that there is disappointment there. Shows up in the bottom corner as a contact warning, although that can't have been for that incident, because he did manage to, while spinning, thread the needle through 4 other carts as he spun that cart round. So he's going to drop down the field toward, and he's already starting to go as everybody comes over the line. He's down now into 13th place, unfortunately, for Jaden Hewitt. He drops off the back of the pack now by some 7 seconds, unfortunately. He's going to be down there. Curtis Latimer and Jacob Duke showing his laps down, but we'll get confirmation when we watch them coming over the line later on. We have had timing issues in the Junior Pro Kart race earlier on, so we do have to be very vigilant in just making sure everything is everybody is where they should be there out on this Whilton Mill circuit, as Ollie Naylor is holding on from Finley Whiting. So that's Naylor. That's the driver that you can see with just the transponder number showing and no name allocated to it. That's Ollie Naylor. He'll be in P4 then, as Finn Whiting is the driver behind. The 81 machine, although we have got a couple of others missing as well, because Jensen Mason isn't picking up, and he's the runner in front there in the green. So not for the first time today. We have had some timing issues here at Whilton Mill. Out at the front though, Tom Carter got past Joshua Howard on the run up into Christmas Corner on lap 2, and has started to move away now at a rate of about 4/10 per lap. Timing at 1 minute as Whiting there. A little bump and run actually on Ollie Naylor. Gets the nose in, and Naylor goes ever so slightly wide there onto the curb, and Finn Whiting takes full advantage and moves through. That should move him up then into P4 as they chase now Tom Holden. So Whiting, who's been right on the back of Ollie Naylor for the previous 3 or 4 laps, has now got to try and close the gap on those in front of him. Could be Ethan Haig, although we do think it's actually Jensen Mason who's not picking up on the screen. Neither of the 285s actually are. Jensen Mason in the green cart, the yellow cart of Ollie Naylor in the background there. Neither of them picking up, as we expect Finn Whiting to move on timing. Although it has remained fairly static, or he has made a way through, although he's made a way through on a driver who's not actually picking up on timing in Ollie Naylor. Next one, though, is Ethan Haig. The gap is around about 5/10 as the time begins to elapse. And our race leader, I'm not sure in the remaining 15 seconds, it's going to be a dash to the line, whether he's got to do 1 or 2 laps. And we'll see whether it just goes to a flat line and then a last lap, or a flat line and then stays there for a long, long time, which means that Carter will have already gone over the start finish. I think he has already gone over, as this is the battle for second place. So we're going to have 2 more laps of racing as Finn Whiting pumps in the fastest lap of the race. That's what, when it goes purple, that's the fastest lap of the race. If you see it flash blue, that's a driver's personal best. And now Whiting goes down the inside of Jensen Mason. Mason sees him coming and leaves him plenty of room. Good spatial awareness there by Jensen Mason in his first outing in the JKC series in 2022. The leader will already be making his way into the boot section. There's some 9 seconds in front of this gap. This battle for third place, which has Ethan Haig there in the red cart in front, with Finn Whiting closing in behind. The gap was half a second on the previous lap. As they enter the last lap now, it looks like it could be a little tighter than that. He's actually gone out ever so slightly. Looked like he was closing in. Your race leader then, Tom Carter, has begun to move away from the rest of the pack, as he did at the start of the race, but he's kept pumping in them fastest laps. And his personal best, the gap now 3.7 seconds back to Joshua Howard in P2 as he comes towards the boot complex then for the final time. Into the left, takes a huge amount of curb, which is the best way to get that cart settled up. Round the 2 right-handers. And the first junior Rotax race of the day is won with the fastest lap as well by Tom Carter. Joshua Howard's going to get P2. Ethan Haig should hold on for P3, certainly on timing, but looks like that's Jacob Dukes in front of them, so he's going to get 3. Haig will get 4th. Whiting then with 5th.